Hello everyone, and in this video we're going to talk about serializers. So we're working here, and um, serializers allow complex data such as the queries and model instances to be converted to native Python data types, right? So that with that we can easily convert those or render those data types to JSON, XML, or something else, right? If you worked with the Django forms before, here, you will feel that they have like kind of like the same structure, and yeah, it's basically kind of like the Django model forms. You have the class that you pass the you have the class here, and then you have the class meta that you pass the model, and then you select the fields. And in the same way that you can work with like individual um, fields, the same way you can do it with the serializer. If you go to the documentation here, and then you open the serializer fields, you will see all the fields that you can work with. And you have the boolean, the char, the email, slug, URL, the UID, file path, IP, float, basically like all the fields that you will find in models and then the forms. Um, yeah, it's the same thing. Um, so here, the model serializer, this provides a shortcut that lets you create the serializer class. Just like the use, for example, here we use the user model. So it will have the same structure for all the fields. It will just basically all the fields from the model will be mapped to the serializer fields. Yeah. So here also you can specify individual fields as we saw before, or you can just specify all the fields, and also you can say which one to exclude. You can put like exclude, for example, exclude, and then you say, oh, don't show me the username, whatever, pretty much. But yeah, so there are like different types of serializer. Here we have the model serializer, and also we have the go to the serializers. You'll see that we have the model serializer here, and then you have the hyperlinked model serializer, and then the list serializer, and the base serializer. Um, we let's um let's work with the model serializer. Um, we created that one, but this is a little basic. Well, it this one will work fine. It's definitely fine. But let me just create another one for post here. Let me just start create a new file. Serializers type, and from Rest Framework, let's import serializers. Now we can post that models. See which yeah, let's work with the string because the string one has like more relationships. Um So let's call this one a string serializer. Send serializers that model serializer. Okay. So here I'm going to specify two fields. If you go to the let's see. We have the post, and if you go to the post field, this is the ID, and it uses a UUID field. So when you're working with those relationships, you have to specify the field here. So serializers that UUID field. You will see why. You will see why. Also, I'm going to work with the post field. Post serializer that hyperlinked related field. And I'm doing this because when I display all the streams for this user, I want to be able to click on them. For example, in the API, I want to be able to click on them and like go to that post. Basically, like this is what it is, like hyperlink. This is just basically a normal like hyperlink. For example, like when you have the in a document, and then it's basically, for example, this is a hyperlink test. It says readme, but you can click on it and it will take you somewhere. That's what it is. That's what we're going to do. We're going to make the post hyperlink. We are going to how? When we click on the post or whatever, it will take us to the post, to the actual post. Because as you can see here, these just have the relationship. This doesn't have well, just the date field. Just a thing alone, but you have the post, then you have the user and the following person, right? So all of these ones are like different models. So that's why we use the hyperlink field. So when we display all this data, we can go to the post, etc. You'll see now. So here, let's put this one. You have like different. You go to the fields. It's called bottom. Here. So you have the like the miscellaneous fields that you can add in the you can add to the field, and oh yeah, okay. So you can add the like read only field, hidden field, la 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 la, etc. So here only. Oops. So, and then this is important. Now you want to add the what the basically the link. So we put a view name, then the link for the, let's go to the URLs here so you can see. So the link to see the post details is named, as you can see here, post details. Don't get confused. It says view name. You might like add like post detail this one. Oh, actually, I will just But I will replace this view name with URL name, but for some reason it's view name. So it's the post details, because that's where we want to go when we click on the link, right? So post details. You add here in the view name the URL that you want to you want to show before the and the post. Sorry. And that's and now, as you can see now here, you can see the we go to the URL by passing the post ID. That's why we need the ID here. You see that? Because we were going to pass it to the link, to the post details, to call that view. Okay, so here we have lookup field. Basically, how we're going to look for that field. Which field is going to be the looked up? In this case, is the ID. Remember, that's how we look here. And now same thing. Look field lookup URL. This is the URL now, and put keyword like that. Here you have to pass basically like this way. The post ID, you have to pass it that way. Post underscore ID. If we were doing the hyperlink in this tag slot, here in the tag, we will put here we will put the tag slot. Basically, all that's in the here in this area. That's what we're going to put. Okay. We have a post ID ready. Okay, now we don't need to like modify the other fields. So class meta model will be the string, and then the fields we can just put. Even though we work with two of those fields here, it doesn't matter because it will override those on here. So let's save that. And let's see run away. Let's go to the fields. To the view, sorry. And I wanted to like divide this parent like this, the serializer and then the views, but I want you to see the I want you to see this serializer in action really quick. So I'm going to create a view. This will be a class view. One of the but yeah. So first thing we need to import this framework. Let's import this framework views. Import API view, right? Also, we need from Rest Framework that response import the response. Okay. What else we need? Let's import from Django. From Rest Framework. sorry, it's the from Rest Framework that definitions is import is, let me, I think we import it here, so let's just let me check. Okay. Okay, so we got that. We also need, I remember it's a from Django that HTTP is import HTTP 404, right? It will help us to like basically like raise the like, errors and stuff like that. So now let's go to the bottom. This creator will be really quick. So class, let's put list string. And let's pass API view. Inherit for that. So now here we need to specify permissions, classes, just like we did with the other one, is authenticated. Put a comment here. Get all the posts, all the string posts from the user, right? So we need to get the in this case is the user, right? We can get it this way because we want to search the string, we want to search by the users. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pass the ID of the user to the URL so we get the user. Okay, so now let's get the object, the user object. We do it. Let's create a function here, itself, and the a key because I'm going to pass the user ID, right? To try return user.objects get, and then here we just pass the ID. It set user that does not exist. If we get a user that's not exist, let's raise a HTTP 404. That's what we implement. That's what we import. Sorry. So that's how we get the user. And now let's get the list of string, right? So let's create a get because we can because that's what we're doing. We're getting all the string. So let's create a get. And in this class, you have if you go to the use okay, use, you have like class view, you have the get, as you can see here, and yeah. So okay, so get itself need to pass the request in the ID, okay, right? And then let's put format none, format none. So first, let's get the user. So user will be we need to call this function here. So self that get object this function that we created, and now we pass the pk that it takes from here. We need to pass it, so it searches for the user and returns the user and assign it here. So that's how we get the user. Now that we have the user, we can search, we can get the post. So string just that filter. We're getting all this string objects for that user. The wizard that we got here. Okay. Yeah. So now serializer, okay, will be, what's our serializer? Let me see if we import it here. Nope. So let's put the serializer here. Post that serializers import. String serializer. Let's go here. So we pass the serializer here, just like that, string serializer, and now we pass the data that we're getting, the object that we're getting. So this post, we pass it here. So very important. Now we need to pass the many true because we are dealing with multiple objects. So we're doing with like multiple objects. And here you have to pass like many true. So keep that in mind. So, and we need to pass the context here, request, because we're using request. Okay, now that we got that, we just return response, and then we just return the serializer is data. Oops. Data. Okay, save that. This is a really quick view. So now, as you can see, it's very different from the generic one. The generic one here. Probably like, I'll stick with the generic. But the thing is that you need this one basically to search for the user. This one will be more practical because you can customize what you want. If you need more customization, you need that one. So okay, so we got the view. Let's really quick go to the URLs here. And let's import this string here. List string. We don't have that one there. Okay, list string. Let's import that here from the views. And let's go down here. Let's create a new URL. When you're creating like these views, you cannot like add it in the router like that. It will throw you an error and stuff. So you need to basically add it here. So this is what I'm going to do. So I'm gonna call it get strings. And remember that we're passing the ID of the user. So the ID is an integer to the PK. Just like that. Of course, this is because we're passing the ID of the user to get the strings. You can get the user in a different way, but I just want you to see it. And if you have let's say a mobile application, you'll probably know what's the user ID that's logged in the mobile application or whatever. So you can just easily pass the ID of the user to get the data, but this can be very tricky. This can be a security issue also. So you have to keep in mind how to deal with this. Okay, so let's oops, sorry, we got it. List string, then that as view. Okay. Name the URL. I will name API list strings. Okay, let's close, save that. Let me see if this is crashing. No. So yeah, let's go really quick. Let's test that out. Get. Oh, let me get a user really quick. Yeah. This get streams, and then we pass the ID. It's one the user, and name user is not defined. Oh, what's that for? Let's see. Yeah, the user model is not. So let's go here. Django.contrib models. Let's import the user. We forgot to import the user model, so there we go. And as you can see here, we have all the strings for the user. You remember, this is what I want you to see really quick. The hyperlink related field. Can you see the link now here? This is the hyperlink field. So if we turn that off, let's turn it off so you can see. Let's turn it off. Oh, actually, yeah, let's turn that off, and now let's refresh. You see, now the post that we're getting is just the UUID of the post, as you can see. In here, we're not getting the link to go to the post. We're just getting the UUID. But if we uncomment these ones, you can see. Let's save that. Let's refresh. Now you can see that you have a link that if you click on that, it will take you to the actual post. This is the post. Okay. Very cool. So so probably you're like, oh, but I don't want to see the ID of the user. I want to see the actual data. I want to see which user are those, right? So here in our class meta, you can specify here the lookup relationship level. So if you do like depth, then you put set 1, save that. Now let's refresh. As you can see, now you can get, you have the ID of the string This is one string. This is another string. For the user 1, for the user 1, right? And then here you have another user. This the user. You even can get the password. Of course, this is encrypted with a SHA encryption, so you cannot get this. This is so it don't think that now we can get the password. No, quite. Okay, so we can get the data from the user. It's active. It's a staff. We can get the first name, the last name, the username, la. So if you get a get, you can populate all these fields and get the field that you want. But yeah, this is for the model serializer, right? This is how you can do it. There is another one there is another one called Serializers. This is the Hyperlink Serializer. So this one will be